Macmillan Audio presents The 300 by Daniel Wasserbly, narrated for you by Neal Bledsoe. Prologue. Any incoming U.S. president gets briefed on the threats and options of nuclear warfare. The choices aren't good, and the dynamic is particularly tricky with North Korea, with its bellicose history, long-range missiles, and nuclear weapons. Somebody has to tell the president about the limited options, and this unenviable job typically falls to the vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That four-star officer must travel to the White House and first explain the choice between preemption and interdiction. Preemption would be when the intelligence community reports a possible intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM, being stacked on a North Korean launch pad. The president would need to decide upon a wait-and-see approach or a preemptive strike to destroy that missile. International law says a preemptive strike is an act of war, but it is more open to interpretation if that act might be justified. Legal arguments can be made either way, and the context is important. Is it possibly a test launch? Could it be a satellite payload and not a warhead? Has Pyongyang been publicly threatening to turn New York City into a sea of fire? One group of government lawyers might argue that just stacking the boosters on the launch pad could be considered a hostile act, while another group of government lawyers might argue that it's not a hostile act until the missile has been launched at the United States. The president must also be warned that preemptive strikes are not guaranteed to be successful. A missile could get through and hit the United States anyway. Interdiction is a simpler but equally unpalatable concept. The Pentagon steps into the fight after the missile has already been launched at the United States. This could include the president ordering a retaliatory nuclear strike, but immediately after an enemy launch, the authority for self-defense is already delegated to Northern Command, which could try to destroy the hostile warheads. Intercepting the warheads sounds like a great alternative, a respite in this otherwise horrific briefing about nuclear war. Unfortunately, at this point in the president's briefing, the vice chairman must explain how difficult ICBM intercepts are. About 90 seconds after North Korea launches, the Pentagon will know the trajectory thanks to infrared satellites overhead and radar on U.S. Navy ships or at fixed sites in Japan. The interceptor system needs to see and track the missile at 2 points to plot where it is heading, and then at a crucial third point to get good enough data to triangulate an intercept. Those satellites, radar, communication networks, and computer systems all must work properly. The missile needs about 28 minutes to travel from North Korea to, say, Seattle. Within that, there will be about a 7-minute window from the time the inbound missile crosses over the interceptor's system's third radar horizon within sight of the Cobra Dane radar station on the small island of Shemya in Alaska's Aleutian Chain. The first 2 minutes and the last 2 minutes of that window are statistically bad for an intercept attempt, so U.S. Army missile crews plot their launches to hit the warhead somewhere in a 3-minute time frame in the middle, the sweet spot. 4 of 5 interceptors might be launched to collide with that one incoming warhead in the sweet spot, but the interceptor's intricate components all must work properly too. The last part of the vice chairman's briefing is especially unhappy, because then the president is told that there might not be sensors or radars available that can see whether the interceptors actually destroyed the warhead. If the entirety of the system works, you might not know you've killed the warhead until its full 28-minute flight time has passed. The only measure of success would be that when the countdown hits 0, Seattle isn't smoldering under a mushroom cloud. The incredibly difficult mission of Homeland Missile Defense is assigned the U.S. Army's 100th Missile Defense Brigade and 49th Missile Defense Battalion. Just 300 soldiers. The small, unconventional unit calls itself the 300, homage to the Spartans who fought at the Battle of Thermopylae in 480 BC. Except, instead of using swords and shields as did the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?